Hey, Blake, hey, congratulations on Cruel Summer on Freeform.
Thank you so much.
How does it feel to be part of a show that everyone likes to talk about around a water cooler, except that we can't be around a water cooler to talk about it?
I know, it's pretty wild. I have to say, it's I don't think I've been a part of a show that has gotten this much of a response. It's wild. Even and like all across, it's like young people, my parents, their friends are talking about it. Like I've gotten people like reaching out to me from my past that I haven't heard from in years. Like it's really gotten to a lot of people, which is very exciting.
Why do you think a show like this works, especially like now?
Well, I think that this storytelling like this hasn't really been done. It's non-linear. It's you know, we're dealing with the kids. We also have the adults. You don't know who to trust. It's like once you think you're like, oh no, that's the person to, the storyline that I need to follow, and it takes a complete turn. And so I think the fact that like the writers are constantly keeping the audience on their toes, and that people truly don't know what to expect is what I think people are drawn to. That's the type of TV I love. I think, Broadchurch was one of my favorite TV shows. And I think until like the last episode, you don't know, who did it or what happened. And so I really respond to that type of storytelling. And I think that the show has done quite a good job.
When you try to describe Martin Harris to others, do you describe him sort of like a good guy or a villain?
I describe him as a villain. I think that, I think Martin is a horrible villain with a nice guy mask on. I think what he presents to the outside world is one thing, and what he has inside is completely different. And I think that that's very telling about our whole show. I think that it's this small town with the perfect houses and the perfect manicured lawns and the hedge, like the white picket fence. But what's happening like beyond, inside is completely different. And I think, Martin came into this town presenting himself as this nice assistant principal, but really he had a lot more going on underneath the surface.
Was it easy to portray a character in almost nearly two different personas? Nice guy, villain guy, and so on, or is that the enjoyment of playing somebody like this?
It was hard. I mean, it was definitely tough, but I think being able to step out of the villain and playing both sides was definitely a relief. I think the scenes that Olivia and I had in the basement were really tough scenes to shoot. They were really emotional, and so to be able to do a scene where I, in this week's episode, one of the other students' moms is hitting on me, and so it was fun to be able to play that from an actor standpoint. But I think that even when I was doing the lighter scenes, I was always in the back of my head, going, you have a girl in your basement, you are grooming this person, you're taking advantage, because I didn't want the villain to disappear, because, he's a bad guy, and I think I always tried to like have it in there somewhere, even when doing lighter scenes. But, there were very few light scenes. I feel like for the most part, it's pretty heavy,
How do you handle spoilers for yourself personally on the show? Do you basically don't want to be spoiled until you have to act in the scenes, or do you read it all the way through?
We didn't get all of the scripts up front, so we were kind of learning things as we went along, and I found that helpful because it didn't allow me to get ahead of myself. I think, you find out in the very beginning of the show that Martin is dead. So I knew where he ultimately ends up, but I didn't know the day-to-day, and I think that that was helpful. It was a constant dialogue back and forth between Olivia and I and our directors and the showrunner Tia, just about what had happened, you know, at how long has she been in the basement at this point? What has happened in the basement? So sometimes we allude to the things that have been done, but we don't necessarily show them. And so it was really important for Olivia and I to create those backstories with each other so that we were both always on the same page, and just to give it different layers.
What do you think about all these fan theories that people come up with, or do you try to avoid them as much as you can?
I think, no, the theories are fun. You know, I mostly have done comedies in my career, so it's so where, you know, there's no theories on those. Like, you know, comedies are much lighter. So this has been really fun to see how excited audiences are, and the fact that they are that passionate to then go and write their own, you know, versions of an ending. And I mean, it just, it speaks so much to like how creative our writers are, and how they are just keeping everyone guessing. But no, the cast has been sending around, when someone will see something like a Reddit feed, and we'll all text to each other. And some of them are, there's been a few that have been kind of close, I'm not gonna lie, but then some are just like out of left field, but they're hilarious. It's great to read, and it's, yeah, there are a lot of very creative people out there.
Well, then I'm going to bring up one, but I don't want you to spoil it, but
Okay,
just give us a hint if we're overthinking about the mirrors in the basement.
Interesting. I know what you're talking about because I feel like someone sent me that. I think that the mirrors in the basement lend a lot to scenes coming up. And you'll see why, but I do think that some people are reading too far into that.
Okay, terrific.
But I definitely think that they are important to the story.
No, absolutely. I feel like this is like every little thing somehow contributes to something, and that's the enjoyment of Cruel Summer.
Yes, absolutely.
But riddle me this: how does a vice principal buy such a big house for himself?
I know, his house is pretty insane. I have to say, one of the backstory that I chose to, you know, go with on that, which I think only helped his bond with Kate even more, is that he also came from some sort of family money. So I think, you know, I think it was in episode 4 when we're looking at the stars, and I'm telling her how my father committed suicide, and I think that he's opening up to her in a way and kind of going, look, I understand that you're having family drama and families can be tough. I kind of feel like he was going, you know, I get what you're going through, and I kind of had a similar family that had its secrets and stuff. So in my head, I always just was like, maybe he comes from money as well.
Absolutely. And one more thing before I let you go. Does Annabelle will answer everything?
Annabelle, I love the questions and the theories that Annabelle is bringing up. I think that everyone will be shocked, and you will find out who Annabelle is, but you might not find out until quite close to the end.
All right, you are such a great conversation.
Oh, you too. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you, Blake. Appreciate it.